Hi all, hope everybody's doing well. Don't actually have a project this week. I've got nothing I'm working on right at this minute, but I thought I'd show you a couple of projects that I've got that I'm going to be doing over the next few months. I guess I've been hanging around for a while. I just had a few things on my list of projects to do. And the first one although this may not be the first project I'll work on, but this is a clock. Obviously, I was going. This. I mean, this is a few years old. I started this about 4 years ago, and the idea was to have a string of LEDs around the outside of the clock. Red ones there for the minutes, and green ones in here for the hours. And Raspberry Pi Zero W, I think, if I remember rightly. Hence the sticker in the middle there. I've obviously got on with it a bit. Got some part of it done here. Got all these LEDs soldered in here. But that's about as far as I've got with that. So I thought that was all ready to go. And yeah, it just sort of got forgotten because well, not forgotten, but put aside because I've moved house a couple of times since I started this, and it sort of got put on the back burner and put away in a box and forgotten. But that I want to get back on with that one some stage fairly soon. The next project I have in my pipeline is another digital clock. I have a lot of trouble when without my glasses. I can't see things up close anymore. My vision is deteriorating with age, as it does. So I decided when I'm lying in bed, I wake up in the middle of the night, I have a look to see what the time is, for example. With a digital clock with normal size digits, I can't see a thing. It's just a red blur or green blur or whatever. I just can't see the time, and I think, well, I need a clock that's got larger digits. I couldn't find any, so I thought I'll build my own. And I found these ages ago, 2 or 3 years ago it would have been, at least. That's another thing that sat in a box waiting for me to move house and do whatever. So I've got these digits. As you can see, I've already started trying something. So the idea is to have these nice big digits there, so when the clock's sitting beside the bed, I can look at it and say, oh yes, it's whatever the time is. And they're large enough so the clock can actually be moved further away from the bed, which will enable them to come into focus somewhat as well and still be read. So that's what I was working on, what I started working on. As I say, I've got these. I can't remember, to be honest, exactly where I got to with this, but that was the idea, to make these. And I've got these. I've obviously got these Perspex sheets cut, ready to make the box. But that's about as far as I went with it. The digits will be behind this. However that was going to be. So one of the problems when you start a project and then you come back to it 3 years later, you think, what was I doing with this? What's this bit for? What have I done? Yeah, so I've got to try to remember how I was going to put this together. I was going to use a Raspberry Pi, or maybe not an Arduino. It has to be something where it can connect to the outside world and get the correct time as well. But yeah, that's that one. One day. Now the other one is another clock. Now this is going to require a little bit of fiddling and twiddling here for me to show you what's going on, but as you can see, I have one of these little neon lamps, transformer I purloined out of an old wall wart. one of these little tiny 12-volt batteries. They're used in remote controls and things. Now I'm going to do this, and I'm not quite sure the camera's going to be able to pick this up, so yeah, I don't know whether the camera can see that. I'll try the light, turn these lights off so that try that again. Okay, so if you watch the little neon bulb, we'll get some flashing happening there, and all I'm doing is holding the battery there, making contact on one end with one of these contacts from the transformer, and basically just touching it on and off. So what it is, this end here is the what would have been the mains in, 240 volts in, and this side would have been the original 6 volts in the case of this particular transformer. So what I've done here, I'm using the 6 volt secondary windings now as the primary windings, and all I'm doing is making contact with this battery. I haven't even got it in a proper holder. I don't have one for this. I'm just touching these to each end, and that's all that's required to cause the neon light to strike. So what you've got is transformer, not very well drawn, but it'll do. If you've got a constant voltage coming into the primary winding over here, the primary and secondary, you've got a constant voltage coming in, say DC, coming into this. That induces a magnetic flux in the core of the transformer, but it's constant because this voltage is constant. So because that's constant and it isn't changing, you won't get any voltage on the secondary winding. If, however, you change this voltage in any way, up or down, doesn't matter, that changes the magnetic flux in the core of the transformer, and that change will induce a voltage over here on the secondary windings. So what I'm attempting to do with this arrangement here, with the battery and the light and everything, is changing this voltage over here simply by disconnecting the power. So your power goes along and suddenly drops to 0. So you've got 12 volts over here, and it suddenly drops to 0, and that change is so sudden that the magnetic flux in here changes so quickly that it induces a very, very high voltage over here, enough to make the little neon light. If that makes sense. And ditto the other way. If you have no voltage over here, and you suddenly introduce a voltage again, that is so sudden that it'll induce a voltage over here. My idea is to make some sort of an oscillator with maybe a 555 timer or something like that, and that, as a result, will cause the lamp to illuminate continuously rather than flickering on and off like I've been doing. And to that end, I have some pieces here, because that's just to produce enough voltage to light the neon lamp. And then using something, I don't know what, but using some microcontroller, run these optocouplers. As I have 2 sets here of 8 optocouplers, and I've got these little bulbs here, which are they're also neon indicators, and that they'll sit around the the edge of the clock. In the same way that I've done with this guy, instead of having LEDs, I'll have these little lamps. Because the way this is going to work, there'll only be 2 LEDs lit at any one time, the hour and the minute. So basically my idea is to have 12 of these for the hours, and of course only 1 lit at any one time, and 60 of these little guys. The whole bag's full of these. 60 of these little guys around the edge to indicate the minutes. So I thought that would give it a bit of a steampunk appearance, I guess. But that's all. Yeah, that's all in my head at the moment. I don't really have any full plan. Just sort of mulling on things there. But I'll hopefully do that sometime later this year. So yeah, that's 3 clocks that I've got mulling around in my head. I also have non-electronic projects, because I do a lot of bits pieces. This is what's going to end up as a camera obscura. Normally they have either a pinhole or a lens, and I thought, why not use one of these Fresnel lenses, because they're big and bright, and reflect onto a screen, and in addition to that have a mirror. So right, a lot of reflection going on here. I'll put it sideways so that you can see the configuration, intended configuration. We'll have the Fresnel lens here with the subject out there, out that way, and this is on its side, bear in mind, and it will be focusing its image across here, and of course the mirror is here, so the mirror will be reflecting the image up onto a screen that will sit up here somewhere. So when you've got it, yeah, and when we've got it sitting up like that, probably easier to draw it. So we go this way. So here's the subject over here. Just a light bulb will do. Fresnel lens will be there like that, and then the mirror will be at a 45-degree angle like that, and then the screen will be up here like this. It'll be in some sort of a box just to hold the whole thing together. So when you look down on the top, the image will be focused onto the screen there. So when you look in the screen from the top here, you'll see the image of the thing the right way up, back to front, but the right way up. So that's my idea. But that's a fairly standard setup for a camera obscura. But I think I haven't seen any designs that have a Fresnel lens instead of just a conventional lens. So my idea was that the Fresnel lens would make the thing brighter, so you'd be able to see it daylight, whatever. At the expense of some clarity, I guess, because they do focus an image onto a screen or whatever, but it's not as crystal clear as a normal lens. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then a modification of that will be to get some of that. There's a type of material called Sunprint, which is basically a cyanotype. And the idea is that if you get some of that, put it on the screen there with some black card paper or whatever, covering it to keep it dark apart from the image. Leave it there for say 2 hours or whatever. You should get an image on the paper. And that material, that Sunprint, just develops in plain water, which is interesting. But that's just a little extra thing I thought I'd play with at some stage. Anyway, that's all I have for you So maybe I'll have something a bit more interesting for you next time, but for this time that's all there is. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.